Hey Bulldog fans, welcome into this week's edition of the Student Athlete Spotlight presented by Coca-Cola. I'm John McAfoose. Today I'm very happy to be joined by freshman runner on the cross country and track and field teams, Sinkenesh Parker. Sinkenesh, I appreciate you making some time.
Thank you.
Well, I want to get into what brought you to Samford, but before we get to that point, I just want to talk to you a little bit about your upbringing and your background, because you have a pretty fascinating story. You were originally adopted from Ethiopia. You've spent most of your life living in Florida prior to coming here to Samford, and you also had a medical condition when you were a teenager that really affected your life in a lot of different ways, including triggering some memory loss. So tell us a little bit about that and how you overcame some of those challenges.
Basically, on the medical problem I had was a brain infection called encephalitis, and that just caused me to have trouble speaking. And when I was adopted on the older side, so it was like I already had to learn English and learn school all over and stuff, and that was already late. So when I had the brain infection, it just caused me to kind of be on a setback of learning again, and mostly in like writing classes and math and like just learning new patterns again. So that has been one of the biggest things.
How old were you when you were diagnosed with the condition?
13.
Okay, and so you were living in Florida at the time already.
Yes.
Do you have memories of Ethiopia?
A lot of it is kind of a mixed like memory of everything. So like I think that has been also like my brain infection kind of blurred everything together. But I do have some certain memories that like just pop up throughout the day. If something, I like recognize something, I'm like, oh, that's like Ethiopia.
Tell us a little bit about running, when it became a hobby for you and when it started to maybe evolve into not just a hobby, but something that's a bigger part of your life.
I did start running, I believe, in fifth grade with my sister on a club team. And then I watched my sister run for my school, and it was track, and I was like, hey, I want to do track. That looks so much fun, and it's like competitive, and you get to see everyone compete. And so the next year I was put into cross country for my school, and I stuck with it, plus my sisters were on the team, so it was like family and a community. So that was a big start to it, and just growing with our team and my sisters. And I think I began to like realize that this is something I can use, like my gifts, to like glorify God. And during that whole situation of my brain injury, that was like the beginning side of like my school cross country, like realizing, hey, this is something I can take far with me. That brain infection, throughout that whole situation, there was other like stuff that I was working on, like iron, and like I had just trouble running in general, and I was like so close to giving up. And once I passed all that, all those challenges, like I was told not to quit and everything. It just, not realizing it, I look back and I'm like, oh, this is something that has pushed me, I guess. Like just learning to work even harder over the challenges. And so that's one of the things I realized, like running is something that can help you grow.
Did you ever play any other sports, or were you interested in other sports, or was running always the focus for you?
I did play soccer for pretty much the beginning of when I came to America. And I feel like it was a big attachment to me, because that's what I did in Ethiopia, like street ball, that's like the main thing there. And so when I came here, that was the thing that I was familiar with. And I wanted to play for I did play for a good amount of time, but I wanted to play longer when I was in cross country. I was like, hey, I want to go back to soccer. But I wasn't stuck. I just stuck with running. Like, it was my choice.
Talk a little bit about your journey to becoming a Samford Bulldog. When did Samford first appear on your radar, and how did that recruiting process go for you? It happened during COVID too, so that obviously changes things a lot.
Yeah. Honestly, I was looking through like all the colleges, and I believe Samford, like my mom and I went through, and Samford, we saw it, and we heard it through a friend. We're like, oh, Samford's like good running program and a good Christian community. And I'm not quite sure when that started, but I know it wasn't my first school I looked at. And so when I looked at that one, it just checked off all my boxes, and in the end it came through and it worked out.
couple of strong performances early in the season, both for you and your team. You had a 6th place individual finish at Fairburn, Georgia a couple of weeks ago, a 12th place finish at the Blazer Classic that UAB hosted a couple of weeks ago, and you've got the SoCon Championships right around the corner. They're coming up this weekend. Do you feel pretty good about where you're at right now for this point in the season?
I'm feeling pretty confident in my team and in myself, and I'm just hoping to do my best for them, and yeah, I think we're in a good spot.
All right, Sinkenesh, we're going to end with some rapid fire questions. We're going to
Okay.
do some about you and then some about your teammates.
Okay.
Okay, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Okay, what's one place you'd love to visit?
Greece.
Okay, what's your favorite thing so far about Birmingham?
I think my team. Yeah.
Good
my
answer.
team.
Favorite hobby outside of running?
Learning new activities like instruments or just painting or something.
Okay,
simple like that.
do you play different instruments?
I try, like at the piano, I've learned to play the piano for a while, and I just like to teach myself, and it helps me, like I said, with like the brain development and stuff, so
Very cool.
I think that helps.
What's your dream job?
Maybe a pro athlete. Like, I haven't really thought about that far in running, but
Okay.
that would be fun.
What are you studying here at Samford?
I came undecided, and
Okay.
so next semester I'll be going into health science.
Okay, very cool. All right, we're going to switch it up, ask you some about your teammates.
Okay.
Best overall athlete. It can be men's or the women's team too if you want to go either way.
Man, they're all so good.
Well, we can just say all of them.
They're all amazing.
Biggest comedian.
Probably Allie.
Okay.
Allie knows.
Who has the best taste in music?
Oh, the only one I've heard that actually plays music is like Allie. And then the girls I drive with, they always play country. But they do play other stuff too. It's just the one that's played like the different varieties, I think, is Allie.
Who spends the most time on social media?
Oh, it might be me. But honestly, it's just like, I don't know. I like looking at quotes.
There you go.
But other people, I'm not quite sure about.
What teammate would you want to take to a desert island with you?
Probably all of them.
All of
I don't
them.
know.
Just take the whole team.
If I could choose, I don't know if I could choose one.
All right.
Just don't take the whole team.
Well, Sinkenesh, I really appreciate your time. Best of luck at the SoCon Championships this weekend.
Thank you.
It's freshman cross country and track and field runner Sinkenesh Parker. I'm John McAfoose. That'll do it for this week's edition of the Student Athlete Spotlight, presented by Coca-Cola.